pull this closer to me. Okay. Sorry about that, Capricorn. All right. So, hi. Strange gatherings. So anyway, hello, Capricorn. I am Kristen, and I'm a healer who is a bit fidgety right now. Quite fidgety. So here we are for today's Healing Circle video, and it's called Crashing Into Each Other. And what do I mean by this, crashing into each other? The thing is, last week in the Healing Circle, we talked a lot about this, like, how do you say, this dynamic between this confidence that was awakening within sea goats, right? This feeling of fullness within the self, or feeling better within the self, and how those two things connected, how they collided in order to create a better outcome for you, Capricorn. Now, the thing about this energy is you're in a space right now, sea goat, that can be uncomfortable for a lot of you. You could be dealing with a lot of difficulty around your flow, okay, around what comes natural to you, what is graceful for you. And this could show up when we're talking about flow. We're talking about pretty much the awakening of Venusian energy, right? So this can show up in your finances. It can show up in your love life. It can show up in your relationships in general, right? You're being tried and tested in all of these places where water wants to be, let's say, the primary participant. So water is happening in the North Node. It's happening in Saturn. It's happening this week. We see Saturn finally going direct in Pisces, which is going to release a lot of this energy. But during this time period, you've had to get a lot of harsh reality checks, and harsh reality checks that have, shaken you and also relieved you. So released you and relieved you. So this can be, again, trying you in those spaces that are flow based, that are currency based. Now, the currency of love, the currency of your finances, or the currency of the flow and the way in which you connect with other individuals, the way in which you show up into the world, your authenticity, your confidence, your sense of union, your sense of connection, your sense of what intertwines you with other people. And this is the thing. This is the dynamic that's playing out in that way. So in this sense, what we see for this week is this crashing into each other. Now, this can be love, and you notice I'm kind of leaning you guys more toward love, because for most of you, this energy, because remember, it's all an energy, this energy is mostly showing up in love, right? But again, it could also be showing up financially. Think Venus, think materials, the luxuries around you, and again, how you relate to people in general, not just your romantic relationships. But there is this kind of combustible connection, right? So crashing into each other, it can be uncomfortable, but it's also something that is drawing you close. It's making you intertwined. So this can be you being able to come full circle when it comes to a primary relationship in your life, especially if you guys are in relationships, or if you're in situationships, being able to really create that bond, create that attachment in that way. Or again, financially, or both. Okay, so this is Venus. This can be your ideas coming together, merging. This almost like you yelling at yourself and pulling into you what it is that you've been calling to for a long period of time. And this is something that creates this kind of crash. I want this kind of love, or I want this kind of financial situation. I want this kind of dynamic. We've got the lovers here, right? I want this kind of dynamic. And this is the thing that is coming full circle for you during this week in this way. It's like It's almost like I think the feeling that I'm getting is, again, the same vision. It's like, it's almost like screaming out, and then screaming out pulls it in, screaming out and screaming out pulls it in. Oh, wow. Okay, so what fell out? We have an emperor with the an emperor with the 7 of Cups, ego. So again, that's kind of what it is that I was saying, right? Most of you guys are in this space of illusion, this space of confusion, especially around the control that you have in your life. So your finances, this is a big thing for people who have the financial dynamic, and then also your love life. How can you exercise control, right? I'm confused and I'm feeling elusive. I'm feeling a bit of an illusion. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't understand how to call into me what it is that I need to feel like this emperor again, to feel full in this emperor energy, right? I want to be this emperor, and I need to feel full in this emperor energy, basically. So and that's what's falling out. So it's this, and that's what I was saying. It's like that vision of the scream, right? That screaming out and pulling it into you, screaming out to call it into you kind of energy, because you want to be in control this week. You want to be in control, and it creates this kind of, again, stepping you out of the hermit energy. You're stepping out of the hermit energy, wanting to be in control, and that power, it's again screaming out to pull it in. I know I keep repeating myself, but you guys know it's like, but that's just the vision that I'm getting in that way. It's like I want it. I want control. Good morning. That makes sense. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to pull some concrete. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Look at this. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Look at this. We've got an 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups flipped itself over. The 8 of Cups flipped itself over. And the 8 of Cups flipped itself over with a Queen of Swords. Grief, decision. Decision-making, grief. Willing to walk away, decisiveness, discernment, bitterness even. And again, that need and that desire to take control. I want to take control. I want to take control, right? And if I take control, then it requires discernment. It requires action. It requires clarity, right? It requires this discerning keen eye, this understanding. This discerning keen eye, this understanding. What do I need to walk away from? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to go to? Where do I need to go with it? And then look at that. We have Karma, and we also have the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So we're going to pull one more for the oracles, and then we're going to dive into this. Oh. Remember I said the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords along with the 8 of Cups, right? What does it mean to walk away? This energy is all about understanding that you're swiftly outgrowing your past. That's like my Queen of Wands energy, right? Swiftly outgrowing your past, saying goodbye to the previous ideas, saying goodbye to the previous identity of things, the previous truths. You're walking your way, Seagull. And the fact that we see the Ten of Pentacles along with the Justice and the Page of Cups, it's you're walking away toward what you feel like is stability. You're walking away toward what you feel like is, and then you're doing it differently. Okay, so let's get into this. There we go. Okay, wow. All right, so here we have, this makes a lot of sense because this is kind of the energy I was feeling initially, right? Or it was like this, there's this, again, the screaming energy, right? And the screaming comes from discomfort, right? It comes from discomfort. It comes from not feeling satisfied, not having what it is that you want, not feeling full, not feeling all of these things. Like, I want what it is that I want and I want to call it into me. I want what it is that I want. I want to call it into me. And it's like, you know, pulling out, pulling in, pulling your hands out, pulling it in, right? So here we have this Five of Pentacles along with the Nine of Wands. So you're fighting still, right? So Five of Pentacles, especially, like I said, Venusian energy is the biggest thing that I'm feeling for this week in terms of your activation, Seago. You're dealing with these battles in love, in currency. Like I said, currency, the waters. This week, you're going to finally be able to have Saturn go direct in Pisces, and you are Saturnian, right? Right now, you're going through retrograde. Your identity is going through retrograde, much like Pisceans, you know, because you are Saturn in that way. And with Saturn being retrograde in Pisces, this has really affected you. It's forced you to see reality checks. It's forced you to really understand your mode of communication, as if your words have a lot of weight to them, as if your words hold so much weight, right? Realizing that you need to, there's something about your need to defend yourself, protect yourself, speak for yourself, call to you what it is that you want through your language, right? Through your ability to say what it is that you need. And also, part the clouds of confusion, illusion. You know, there's so much disillusionment that you've had to face during this Pisces retrograde, it's Pisces and Saturn retrograde. And now that it's going direct, it's like, okay, I see what it is that I need to see. The reality is in my face. Now, what will I do with it? And for a lot of you, the reality that's in front of you is about scarcity. It's about scarcity and abandonment in love or in your finances. And it's this in your relationships, right? So love, your relationships, and or your finances. And it's this feeling of, again, where are you feeling empty? Where are you feeling unfulfilled? We have that Nine of Wands, but you're still fighting, right? So it's this Five of Pentacles that says, yeah, but I'm still putting in the good fight. You know what I mean? Where can I identify the spaces in which these cups are not so full? Where can I identify this Five of Pentacles kind of empty kind of energy, right? And next to that, we have the Five of Cups along with the Three of Swords. So again, the Five of Cups, we got two fives here, okay? So 5-5, right? And when we're looking at this Five of Cups energy, the Five of Cups is with the Three of Swords. So this is clarified by the Three of Swords. Now, I'm not going to say this is great pain, okay? This is more sadness. And I'm not going to say that it's, you need to look at the cups that are still standing in this case. I wouldn't say so, Seagoat. I think that especially a Five of Cups clarified by a Three of Swords is saying that you're sad for a reason. Let's just say you definitely are feeling that sadness because you are heartbroken, because you are feeling that pain. You're feeling that defeat in that way. And yeah, your sadness is due in part to actual loss, to actual sadness, to actual heartbreak. And you're still trying to identify it and put in the good fight while still carrying the weight of this feeling that you feel. Now, like I said, this isn't like great pain. We also have the only major arcana here is the Emperor, right? So the Emperor is backing up the King of Cups. And so the King of Cups is in reverse, however. So this is you saying that you know that you need to step out of your emotional body. And that might be your defense mechanism, Seagoat. It might be what it is that you're doing with yourself. You might be saying, you know, I cannot allow myself to stay in this headspace. So how can I take control? Again, we see the Emperor, right? The great Emperor here. How can you take control? How can you understand what it is that you need to do? There is something about you saying, I mean, the King of Cups is usually a master of emotional control, but sometimes this kind of energy, like I said, it feels more like choosing not to be in that emotional space and choosing to be in a space of control, control and navigation. And this is the kind of energy that shows up for you this week, the identification of the Five of Pentacles, where things feel like they aren't enough, the and navigating those sad emotions, choosing to not necessarily stay in what it is that you feel, but to focus on what it is that you can control. Now, at the bottom of that deck here, we see, and we have the Ace of Cups cutting the deck. So at the bottom, the Ace of Cups is cutting the deck, but we see the Ten of Pentacles, okay? So when we're talking about a Ten of Pentacles energy, this is you again. This is the focus here, is how can you revitalize and expand upon your Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is what I like to call the Ten of Cups, but with substance, right? This is something that is a lot more weighted. This is something that is a lot more heavy in that way, right? It's the kind of emotions that come backed up with something. It's the satisfaction in happiness. So this is you really focusing on that. For a lot of you, you could be dealing with, again, how can you really solidify your relationships in a way that is much more practical? Or again, solidify your finances in a way that is much more practical versus what it is that you were doing previously, right? This is the overarching focus here is long-term serious connections. This could also be family. So family, love that feels very serious, or again, the bare bones of your very stable, stability-oriented finances, basically. And at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Page of Cups, and this is along with Justice. So in this case, again, this is you focusing on how to be lighter. So despite this sadness that you feel, despite this confusion about where to go, how to understand this feeling of lack, this feeling of scarcity or abandonment, I'm not going to lie, for most of you guys, this does feel financial. Just to be very practical in that sense, it does. But if it's not financial, like I said, it's rooted in this feeling of scarcity in love, right? Whether it's romantic or friendship relationships or family relationships, but it's identification of scarcity. And that scarcity is creating this sadness because you've been heartbroken. You've been heartbroken. Somebody has broken your heart. Or this state of your flow, your currency is creating this feeling of heartbreak, this feeling of loss. But again, you're going into this space where you're taking control. So instead of, let's say, sitting and wallowing in this energy, you're trying to think beyond what it is that you feel and trying to understand your strategy in that way. Now, what I thought was interesting is at the bottom, in terms of the oracle, we see telepathy of matter. And this is about understanding that what it is that you want will be able to, let's say, be born without logic, right? And it's all about understanding how to go a different route or go a different way. Now I'll read this for you, Seago. So telepathy of matter. The pathway for your spiritual fulfillment is, and the sacred manifestation of your purpose is not necessarily logical and will evolve organically. The skillful and unpredictable workings of Earth Mother are supporting your soul journey unconditionally. Following up on inspired ideas and allowing for unexpected shifts in direction are integral to the manifestation of this. Commit to an idea that feels good to your heart. Even if it feels improbable or unattainable, it'll manifest successfully. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing there. It's this Ten of Pentacles for you right now feels impossible. It feels unattainable. But you're choosing to have this lighter, happier perspective toward it regardless. So it feels unattainable, but you're choosing to be idealistic. You're choosing to try to keep a happier, more positive outlook about this feeling of can I achieve this, right? And this is, again, as you're juggling that scarcity, because what is the opposite of the Ten of Pentacles? The Five of Pentacles, right? It's halfway through. You've got the 10 and you've got the 5. So you're seeing this, you're in this Five of Pentacles with your eyes on the 10 of Pentacles. But you're putting in the good fight, right? And you're not giving up. And despite the feelings, you're staying steady and deciding to control what it is that you can control, find the ways in which you can navigate this energy. Now, and I think one of the biggest things about that oracle is it's understanding that the logic that is in front of you is not going to help you. So the 5, and that's what I was saying about the that Five of Cups, that Five of Cups feels very valid. So this isn't a time where what it is that you're thinking or what is making you sad is not necessarily in your head. It's not necessarily just about perspective. It's actually something that is quite warranted, right? It's a warranted feeling. It's a warranted energy. And yeah, it's warranted. And so it's a matter of you needing to understand that because it is warranted, that means you're navigating based on logic. That means you're navigating based on what is in front of you, what you practically see, what you practically understand, versus being able to, let's say, believe otherwise, like we see with this page of cups, believe otherwise, understand otherwise, navigate and lean toward this regardless, right? The sense of deep stability, despite the reality of the Five of Cups, or excuse me, the Five of Pentacles, Five of Cups. But the fact that I said that, right? Despite the reality of the Five of Cups, I didn't say the Five of Pentacles, I said the Five of Cups, while holding up the Five of Pentacles. So that puts me in a different headspace, Seagoat. Despite the reality of what you feel and the heartbreak that you've had, and the fact that you're in a heartbreaking situation, but you don't have to stay there, right? You have the will, you have the fight. You're sitting with that Nine of Wands. So it feels like the Five of Cups is more of a reality than the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Cups is how you feel, how you're approaching it, how you're addressing it, how you're looking at it. And it's more real than what it actually is. Because this is just a matter of movement in order to find a solution. And deep down, you know that, which is why you're kind of like choosing to disconnect from this King of Cups energy and try to align with this Emperor energy. And it's an understanding that subconsciously, and if you don't have it already within, there needs to be an understanding that what it is that you want will evolve illogically and organically. But you're being required to go about it a different way. So we have that air, right? The mind comes in as the advice. And then the fire backs it up in terms of the path that you take, right? Your spirit needs to be in a space. So we don't see practical things. We don't have these, this is a fire energy for me, and this is an air energy for me. So this is your mind, and then your mind controls your action, the way your spirit will move, what's going on inside of your belly in that way, versus practical steps. This is more about what you feel than it is about what you are experiencing. So be open to that which feels unfamiliar or different. You will experience a breakthrough as you embrace an unusual approach. You're on a soul path of accelerated spiritual growth, which is swifter but not always easier. You do not need to contrive your own happiness, but you can dip into the bliss within your body to lighten your mental state and remind yourself everything is working out beautifully. So again, it goes back into that same state, right? Like, lift your body, as it says, right? Step into a space in your mind that is more relaxed, that is more blissful, as it says. Take a different approach. What it is that you want does not evolve rationally. It evolves organically, without logic, without reason. You're navigating this Ten of Pentacles and this desire to still keep your spirits up despite it. Now, like I said, a lot of you, this is a feeling, because like I said, this is more feeling than anything. This can be a feeling of abandonment in a family situation, right? In a love situation, or again, your bare bone finances. All of this Venus stuff, this Venus conversation, this Venusian. So let's get some advice about all three. because I feel like I'm being pulled in two different directions. For most of you, it's like more practical. It's more financial, but for some of you, it's like this but love but So let's see, and I'll read you guys' things in a second. Let's get advice for all three. Understand that life has its ups and downs. So again, this and that's what I was saying. That Five of Cups is speaking louder than that Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Cups is speaking louder than the Five of Pentacles because it's about what you feel, not the actual Five of Pentacles, not the actual feeling of loss or scarcity or not having enough. It is more the emotion tied to it. Things have ups and downs. Relationships, careers, moments in time, things have ups and downs. Usually the downs are to induce refinement. That's usually what downs are about. How can you have refinement? How can you change the path, change the game, basically? All right, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We're going to do home. I'll do home as love, family, and we'll do money. Because home can be, again, your love life, but also your physical home. 10 of Pentacles, where you are living. Where you are living, where you're resting your head, what you are calling home. An abandonment tied to that, not having enough. I mean, we're nearing the end of the month, we're in a time of bills changing, moving. So we're going to do home, family, and money. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the overarching energy, we see gambling. So this is, again, putting yourself in a position where you are not risking too much. Okay, so understanding that this is not necessarily a time to overdo things or extend yourself or take too many risks. Okay, so home, family, money. All right, so when it comes to those of you that are dealing with home issues, meaning your practical, are you moving? Can you afford it? Are you able to afford your bills? Like something around, and also love, again, what's going on. So home, we're talking about strategy. Okay, so you need to make a plan for what it is that you want to achieve when it comes to your home environment. This is you putting yourself in a position where you take, okay, how can we navigate this situation in order to reach this outcome? How can we have more stability with each other or with our situation? This is requiring you to be very strategic and make smart moves about how you will stabilize and practicalize. For those of you that are with family situations, family is quite simple. It's understanding that it's time for a change. So in this case, I would say that for a lot of you that are dealing with the weight of family in specific, they're going to be surprising you. Let's just say there is going to be an opportunity. Depending on the country you're in, this is a week of great holidays. So this is a time period where there will be an opportunity for you to see a change happening in that dynamic that's going to help heal this feeling of outcast scarcity energy. And then when we're looking at finances, we see expression. So there's something about you not hiding who it is that you are when it comes to your finances. So this is what I think is interesting because it's asking you to repivot. It's asking you to express. It's asking you to expand. right? So express and expand when it comes to what's going on with your finances. Expression of personality and versatility are your trump cards. So and don't hide your personality. So most importantly, especially for those of you who are independent contractors or work for yourselves as entrepreneurs, you have to think outside the box. Take a different kind of like what's happening with home. It's similar, right? Versatility. Strategy and versatility. This is if you are making your finances in one direction, switch it up and do it this way. If you're a salesperson, find a different approach. Literally use your energy as a way to attract in more, as a way to align with more. That is, let's say, the biggest advice in terms of that department. And again, it brings me back to the original thesis, I guess, or title of this entire video, crashing into each other. You're screaming out and being required to call in what you really want, right? Calling in what it is that you really want and desire. This is not a time to gamble. This is not a time to risk for this week. This is a time to be very, very clear, very, very clear in what it is that you will do. Yeah, because when it comes to home, we've got a 7 of Pentacles. Stay the course. For you guys in your home situation, you know what it is that you're doing. Stay the course of the plans that you have made. This is not a time to gamble. This is not a time to play around or to hope or to risk in hope. You need to be very, very stable, very, very grounded, very, very practical, and stay the course, right? Stay steady. Sorry, this is a 7 of Wands. So stay the course, stay steady. But I read it as a 7 of Pentacles. So I'm going to stick with my original thesis. Stay the course and stay steady. With this being a 7 of Wands, 7 of Wands is understanding competitiveness, staying on top of the heap. So again, this, especially for those of you that are in home situations where it could be that you are dealing with something in your love dynamic, there is some kind of battle that is taking place between you and your partner, and it is induced by people around you. So stay above that, right? Stay above that and understand that it's people trying to mess with your foundation. Okay. Stay steady to what it is that you do. Don't allow people to mess with your foundation. Now, for the other situation where you're trying to practicalize your home in specific, it's understanding that there could be other competitors. So if you're going for a home, there could be other people that are interested in it, and you have to kind of stay the course to beat them out. It could be that, again, bills, finances, whatever that is, people are trying to kind of knock you off that ledge or get you out of your comfort zone. Stay the course, create your strategy, and don't bend on it. Be aware of what it is that you're seeing in front of you and what's happening. You know, there's heat in the water, right? There's some kind of sparring match. You guys understand that better than I do. So when we're talking about family, so again, if we see an opportunity arising, we've also got the 3 of Diamonds. So for a lot of you, your family will be able to show you something very progressive. I think, I feel we're in this space when it comes to this week where, and again, like I said, depending on the country you're in, there are a lot of holidays, right? So there is an opportunity that's going to show you where you can create a working system with them. So they can work in your favor, they can work in your benefit, they will surprise you, right? So this can be, especially if you're dealing with multiple things here, they can come in, especially with the 3 of Diamonds, and it can be a very cohesive social dynamic. They can help you financially. They can come in and help you in very practical ways. There can also just be a very nice, cohesive dynamic with them, one that doesn't require too much water, one that doesn't require too much emotion, but something that is very lucrative, something that is very nice. Let's just say working relationships, right? Working relationships, that'll show itself to you during this time period. Again, crashing into each other. But I like the outcome. All right. And then when we're looking at your finances, we've got a 6 of Diamonds here. So This is, again, there is something about you guys needing to show people what you've got, and showing them what it is that you have, showing who it is that you are, really expanding on your talents, your abilities, your je ne sais quoi, your look, your versatility. This is what's going to pull in what it is that you want. Because when we're talking about the Six of Diamonds, this is equal give and takes. This is people liking what it is that you have and giving to you what it is that they have based on what it is that you deserve. Okay, so this is you creating the service and getting the client. This is you giving the energy and receiving the return. Right. And this is the thing that you need to be focused on. This comes into fruition from you adding a little bit more spice to the jar, right? Doing a little bit more, showing up a little bit more, having a more versatile perspective with how it is that you're navigating your financial portfolio, or again, just your work, right? How you are creating a more complex approach to what it is that you do, right? Don't pull back and be that kind of hermit energy like we saw earlier, right? This is you needing to understand that what you think you know is not going to serve you right now. What it is that you want is going to create itself without logic, without your form of view of rationality. You need to take a different approach, especially when it comes to finances. You need to do things differently than you've done them up until this point, right? Show a different side of yourself, and then you'll be able to win. You'll be able to get that return on yeah, you giving out more within yourself, let's just say. Um, Great. Walking away from being inauthentic. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. So that's what I have for you guys. I also wanted to remind you again of the Black Friday promotion, and it's can be found on the website. Uh, and it is 50% off the personal readings. So, and that's going to be for the week, basically. So, yeah, so that's what I have for you. And if you would like to join this healing circle, I'm here 3 days a week, but in our membership, which can be found in the bio. Okay, so I love you so very, very much, Seagoat. Ciao.